Yo, how the fuck's it going, guys? My name's Beast22 and welcome back to my little shitty corner of YouTube. In today's video, we're talking about my teacher, Mr. Nintendo, like I told you guys before, and how this man's is a fucking schizo to the max. Like, this man is so confusing. He goes on about the class and then switches up real quick on the most random tangents about things like the Steelers students in his class, or just anything the voices he hears really tell him to do while we're in class. Like, for example, during football season, he came up with this wild idea at the beginning of the school year. We will have a test based off the Steelers' performance that week. So if they won, we wouldn't have a quiz or a test that week. But if they'd lose, which felt like all the time for us Steelers fans, we would have a quiz. Which, don't get me wrong, I didn't complain too much. Most of the Steelers' losses came near the beginning of the season. So, like, all of our quizzes and tests were easy then. But later on in that year, we had Patriots fans in my class even rooting for the Steelers because those wins meant a lot to us. And one of those kids was Sarah, and Sarah is a Pats fan, and she's super like proper, I guess you'd say. Like, we had a sub in English this one time, and this bitch for real over here actually doing the work while everyone else in our class is talking and watching YouTube, and she had the fucking audacity to raise her hand and go, "Can I go out in the hall? Because it's too loud in here." And me and my friends are in the back thinking, damn, it's no wonder your man's cheated on you and left you, because you out here starting a bunch of shit. But anyways, moving on, she will raise her hand in the middle of class when she gets papers with no holes in it to clip in, like, to her little binder in Mr. Nintendo's class and ask to 3-hole punch it. And no one really cared about that too much until we realized every time she gets up, Mr. Nintendo gives us an assignment within, like, the first minute of her getting out of her seat. And this way, you know, no one ever thought too much of it that we were getting work. We just thought, okay, he already had this assigned. Until me and some of my friends realized he was looking at Sarah's butt, and that's why he would give us the work. As soon as she'd stand up and walk past them, he'd assign work. We would all start working. No one would be paying attention to him, and he would be able to look at her butt up until she 3-hole punches it, turns around, and comes back. And that's not even the only person he was obsessed with. He was also obsessed with a new girl in our school, Jolie, which recently moved back to her old school, which, according to what I've heard from some of my friends at her old school, aka I guess her new school, old school type thing, she left because she was tired of him looking down her shirt when he would help her do work or explain things. Honestly, to be honest, knowing him, I don't think he's that creepy to look down someone's shirt while he's helping them. But, I mean, if that's what she was thinking was going on, that's fine. I mean, like, I'm not going to call her out on that. But whenever she'd call him over to help him do work, he'd get, like, really close and personal to her. Like, you know, when your teacher, you know, bends over to help you work, it's not really like they're super up against your face. Like, he would bend down to his knees so that he could talk to her face to face, like with maybe an inch between the two faces. And it was really, really weird when she put it like that. But moving on from all of that dumb shit where he's obsessed with those two girls, which really, the one is kind of just, he likes looking at her ass, I guess. I'm not really sure about that one. But the second one is, you know, no one really knows for sure if he was looking down her shirt. We've never really caught him ourselves, but that's just what she's told my friend from her new old school type thing. But just by random, like, moving on, he will think and blabber out things that have nothing to relate with class, like, with no filter, no off switch, no nothing. Like, for example, he'll bring up past relationships and will get all depressed, then go sit at his desk and not talk to anyone. If you ask for help, he'll just say, ask someone around you. If, like, you ask him what to do afterwards, he'll just give you more and more work. And it's really weird. And now, that wouldn't be, like, weird, of course, if he wasn't married happily, as he likes to tell us. He says he's happily married and he has kids. But I think he's still definitely obsessed with some of his exes or some sort of dumb shit like that. Because otherwise, if you're married and you're happily married, why would you still be obsessed, like, depressed about some past relationship? Doesn't really make sense to me. But whenever we're playing Kahoot, this is another thing that goes on to his marriage. He'll always say, don't make your like username anything inappropriate or anything. And then we always have someone in my class that'll make their username like Fake Taxi, Riley Reed, Mia Khalifa, and he automatically goes, in full-on rage mode. Hey, what did I just say about inappropriate names? And whenever we ask, whoa, Mr. Nintendo, what do you mean? They're just random names. He says, no, I know exactly what they are. Like, damn, this married teacher be jacking after school, I guess. Like, I guess his wife ain't be getting home till 8. He must be going to bed at, like, 12. So, I mean, I guess that does give him, like, a good 4 hours to, like, you know, get it on. But, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. You got to get some sort of pre-happiness. Yeah, I guess. Gotta get happy before you go and make love, I guess. I understand that. But at the same time, happily married with kids, and you be watching Cornhub. He be watching Cornhub. Okay. But that's really whatever. I'm not gonna judge the man, because just the other fucking day, he made a racist joke saying that the Muslims gave us things like algebra and geometry so that people like us, the Americans, can be as smart as the Chinese. And we have a Chinese kid in our fucking class, and he's saying, oh, I didn't mean that, that's not what I said. And just when he started to get mad, I stood up to throw away a paper, and my friend Luke goes, Nate, stand up at the podium. So I of course, I mean, I'm not gonna like just be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Of course I'm gonna fucking stand up at the podium. So I stood up there, and I was shaking my head at the class for accusing Mr. Nintendo of being a racist fuck that he is. But he turned around and saw me and shouted like I was his son, and he walked in on me smoking weed or something. And he said, Nate, what's your problem? And I said, oh, nothing, Mr. Nintendo, and I'm sorry. And I go to walk to my seat, and he reaches for me and misses my shoulder and yells, no, come with me. And so, you know, being the obedient, well-behaved student I am, I follow him into the hall, and he told me to sit there in the corner outside the room. And he walked back inside the room. And I was fucking dying. I sat there for about 15 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, and just laughed my ass off, because my teacher really just told me to sit in the corner outside the hall like I'm some dog. But it's alright, Like, with 5 minutes left in class, he came out and got me, handed me a paper, and said, don't even think of saying a word. And I didn't know how to respond, so I just said, okay, Mr. Nintendo, I'm sorry, Mr. Nintendo. Went to my seat, looked at all my friends, and we all just at the exact same time start bursting out laughing there. And then I stood up at the end of class and left. And me and him haven't not talked about the issue or had an issue since. And the weirdest part about it all is he told me not to even think about talking when I come back in that room. And maybe with like a few minutes after I come in, he comes over to me and says, Nate, do you need any help? And I just shook my head no. And he looked at me like I was weird for not answering with words. So I swear, this dude, he's not just a schizo, but he's definitely bipolar as well, which we can do a whole nother story time on that, because I have so many other stories about this teacher, which, to be all honest with you guys, I probably could have split this video into way more story times than just this one. I mean, we went through probably 4 good story times that I could have talked about if I added a little bit. But until next time, guys, my name is Boost22, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Always tired, but I'm flirting with them hoes. They only want me for my money and my snow. 120 on the 101, double shifted in my Lambo. Dripping and flexing, no fading, never take it slow. I think I'm killing the game. You think I'm killing myself? They say I'm going Cobain. I'm out here making it well. I've been drinking all night.